Hello and welcome to another session of the Business Renovator. I am Coach Phil. You can see my coordinates and contact information behind me, email address, and one of my websites. So if you're looking for more information about who I is, what I do, and other content, there's a blog post there where these calls get posted to, and there's some complimentary free things that you can go and get from coachphil.ca. I want to start this off as I normally do, and I want to leverage another person's book. A good friend of mine, Brian Monahan, is the author of this particular book, and today we're going to talk about a Mark Cuban quote. And what Mark talks about here is make your product easier to buy than your competition, or you will find your customers buying from them and not you. That's Mark Cuban. So Brian's take on that, I'd like to share his insight because he is the author of this book and put the forethought and effort to make it happen. And he's working on a second one that you too could be part of. If that's of interest to you, let me know. I'll pass you on the information. And you can email it to me at phil@coachphil.ca. If you forget what I just said, it's in behind me once I get rid of his cover. But anyway, Brian's take on this is, do you make it easy for your customers to buy? That's a question. Amazon has had huge success with one-click purchasing. Oh my gosh, yes, they have taken lots of my money out of my bank account. But you know what? It's by choice. And generally, everything I've gotten from Amazon has served me well, because I picked it and they shipped it. It was pretty simple. They made buying a lot easier for us. So what have you done to make it easier for your customers to buy from you? What have you done to make your customers' experience of buying from you so much easier? That might be one of the things we talk about today. I'm going to put up a banner. As soon as I remember where they are, there they are right there. So today's, I really wanted to talk about the master skill of success. That's the main theme for me today. Good morning, Randy Chaffee. How the hell are you? I'm hoping you're doing well, and I look forward to tomorrow when we both get to crush and brag, crush and burn. Anyway, the master skill of success. What do you think that might be? It's something we've all heard before, I'm sure, and it's generally a four-letter word. It's a healthy one. It's a goal, or you could be a five-letter word, add an S, goals. And the key to this, as we're talking here, master skill of success, is to have not a list of things to do and call that a goal list. Those are more tasks that would support the bigger thing. And as I go through this session today, I'm going to drive you to think about what's your major definite purpose. In a modern day book, Simon Sinek talks about what's your why. And a lot of people think, he's very innovative and that's a brand new thing. I think he is innovative. That's not a brand new thing. It has been around for decades, maybe even centuries. And why I can say that is Napoleon Hill wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich, and he interviewed 500 of America's most successful people at that time. And one of the common denominators that they all had was they had a major definite purpose. So their driving force. And one of the things we teach, and it was shared to me by Brian Tracy, in this program we have, Performing Your Best, this is one of the sections we teach and facilitate, is if you don't know what your major definite purpose is, guess what your major definite purpose would be? Would be to work on finding out what your major definite purpose is. It's that important. Knowing why you do what you do is crucial, because if you have a big enough why, everything that shows up in your life would be like a duck. Well, not quite like a duck, but similar to a duck. You know how everything, the water on a duck's back runs off of it? Well, if you treated yourself that same way because you had a strong enough why that's pulling you to it, whether that be your children, your grandchildren, your spouse, your partner, a bigger cause that's philanthropic, you want to build schools in Africa, it doesn't matter to me what it is, but it damn well better matter to you. So it pulls and drives you through there. That's the master skill of success in a nutshell. But I want to open up the nutshell a little bit and talk about some of the things that support this claim that the master skill of success is goals. So setting goals takes care of all of the mental laws. So in our programs, we've got a number of mental laws that Brian Tracy teaches and we share, but you don't have to worry about all the laws and knowing them and remembering them. It doesn't really matter. We introduce them to give you an understanding of what they are. There's a law of attraction, law of vibration, law of reciprocity. There's many, many more, but you don't need to worry about that. Set the goals and move towards them. But you can't move towards something that you haven't set a target to get to. It's like, I guess, setting your boat to sail and not having another harbor to get to. And you wander around and float around and you become unenergized, I suppose. You're not catching the wind in the sails properly. The wind's blowing you around and you're bouncing off of whatever may show up. Might be a shoreline, might be another boat, who knows? What we want you to do, though, is to create specifically what's the end result you're trying to get to, that you want to grow into, who you want to become, what do you want to do, and who you want to serve. As soon as you set the goals, all of the laws that are applicable for you to get to where you want to get to all seem to just line up as soon as you set your goals. In modern day times, like now, many of us have a GPS in our car, whether it's the one that came from the manufacturer or if it's the one that you've bought externally and put in yourself. In order for that thing to work for us, it needs to know where we are right now today. And then it needs to know where we want to go. So we put in the coordinates of where we want to go. The coordinates of where we are is already done and mapped by magic. I think it shoots up to a satellite and gathers our coordinates, and then that's where we are. Or and I guess you can alter that on your GPS and show a different place where you are. But the point is, it has to have a starting point and it needs to have an ending point. Otherwise, it can't do its job. Well, if you think of your subconscious mind, your creative subconscious mind, it's much the same as that GPS. So what you're doing is you're leveraging something that we already have as an innate. It's already there. We already have it. We just need to leverage it. Where thoughts go, energy flows and results show. That's a quote from T. Harv Eker. But it's a simple way to let you know that what I'm saying isn't just me making stuff up. It's stuff that I know that works because when I've used this in my life, guess what happens? I have more things that I'm looking for show up. Does it mean I get everything I'm looking for every time? Absolutely not. Somebody else got it. They beat me to it. I didn't act fast enough. There was something different that showed up. But just think if you didn't have any goals and you become like Zig Ziglar says, you stay as a wandering generalist, I think is how he calls it. Anyhow, another way to look at the master skill of success in terms of setting goals is how Dr. Maxwell Maltz talks about it. He says we're teleological in nature, and that's a big word for something that's really basically simple, and it's like a heat-seeking missile. Once it's set on its target and it's focused on the heat, that's where it's going to go. So what we want you to do, or at least consider doing, is setting your goals, the ones you really, really want, not goals that you already know how to do. That's probably more of a larger to-do list kind of task. What I would encourage you to do, if you were a client of mine and we were working in a coaching business relationship, I would get you to set your goals far enough out that they scare that out of you, but excite you at the same time. And if you have that kind of energy, then you become more unstoppable, kind of like I was talking about the duck. The duck is like the water runs off its back. It does nothing fizzes it. And you've probably seen a duck on the pond, and the pond's pretty smooth. There's no wind blowing, and the duck's just swimming around, floating around on the water so naturally and relaxed. If you were to put a camera underneath the water line and followed it, we need a GoPro. That's what we need. We need somebody with a GoPro to put it on the back of the duck. So when it's swimming around, you'll see frantically underneath, it's going swimming around. But the top, is so smooth and elegant, and the water runs off the back. So those two traits of a duck we can borrow for ourselves, is that the energy of that duck moving its feet helps us move towards our goals. Hopefully that makes sense. Randy, I'm going to put you on here and say good morning to you. Look at that, my good buddy, Randy. This guy is a road warrior, sales, not just a salesman. He's a problem solver, a solution provider in the roofing business. I probably said roof wrong because I don't have the American accent. I like the way Randy says that word. Anyway, thanks for being here, buddy. Appreciate it. Couple of other things in here was we have a mechanism called the automatic success mechanism that comes out of Maxwell Maltz's teachings as well. If you haven't read the book Psycho-Cybernetics, you might want to dig into it. It was one of the earlier books on increasing our self-esteem. And why is that important? Well, if we have low self-esteem, we do low activities. We don't take on many things that are but probably not even out of our comfort zone. And if you have a high self-esteem, then our automatic success mechanism will pull us towards the things we want to do, taking us beyond the limits of our comfort zone. It doesn't necessarily take us out of our comfort zone. What it actually does is expands our comfort zone so it's bigger than what we can perceive ourselves to be today. It's pretty cool. He talks about, all of this comes back to knowing where you want to go. But Dr. Maltz talks about the theater of your mind, which is essentially, in modern day language, people are getting us to visualize our future. Take the first 10 or 15 minutes in the morning and the last 10 or 15 minutes in the night to look at your goals one at a time. These are the ones that you get excited about and scare the poop out of you. And see yourself as if you've already successfully completed it, making it as vivid as you can. The formula that I like to borrow is I times V equals R. It's imagination times vividness will create our reality. And if we put the energy, like I said before in Harv Ecker's quote, where thoughts go, energy flows, and results show, it's the same thing. It's putting ourselves in that space, that end result that we want, as if it's already happened. And what I find happens for me is that I get creative ideas to act upon some things. So just last week, I was having this feeling that somebody that I don't report to, but they're part of our franchise, a wonderful, wonderful person, puts in a ton of hours and lots of effort in running your own franchise and your own coaching practice, and at the same time helping us as franchisees be successful in our own right. So I had this nagging voice because I'd asked her to do something, or asked her if we could do something, and it didn't get a response back. And I took that as what I was asking was she didn't want to deal with it. She was putting it off. By the way, I was totally wrong on that, but I acted on the hunch I got. I picked up the phone, I left her a message, shared some of the things I just mentioned here, and asked if we could have a conversation. So she reached back to me. We had a conversation. What I was perceiving was totally inaccurate, was not what was going on. She's just as busier than I had anticipated her being. But as a result of that, I've been invited to speak at conference to my peers of business coaches with Focal Point. And we talked about some of the things to help provide additional value to the coaches we support, because I'm one of the coach mentors on the coach mentoring team. And I get to hear some of the things and the challenges and the successes that these franchise owners are having. So we had a great discussion about that. So the creative juices turn on when we see ourselves at our future best. And yes, sometimes the triggers we get, like that one, I was wrong in my perception, but it caused me to act upon something that was important to me. And as a result of that, got some feedback, and some things bigger and better came out of it. Matter of fact, one of our points of culture is be the pebble in the pond. And what we mean by that is by throwing the pebble into the pond, the ripple effect happens. The energy level dissipates or expands. And out of that, you get ideas, you meet new people. I got to meet Randy Chaffee because of a pebble in the pond moment back in March, COVID-19 hit. That was the pebble in the pond in my life. And I was looking for ways to expand who I knew and who knew me. And so because of that, I've met Randy. And because I've met Randy, I've met a whole bunch of great people, had a whole bunch of great ideas. So when you set a goal like I did at the beginning of March, because I needed to realign and re-strategize what I was doing in my own business, because the way I was doing it before we weren't allowed to do that anymore. We couldn't go out and see people. I couldn't do a live presentation. I couldn't invite people into a focus group and share the information that I have to help them have more prosperity in their business, to help them break through and find their major definite purpose. I couldn't do that in the old style. So I needed to and wanted to reinvent myself somewhat. And so I did that. That's why the master skill of success is to set goals and go after them. I was really motivated to stay connected with the community out there and expand it. And as a result of it, I know people around the globe, new people. I mean, I've known people around the globe before, but got a chance because of the COVID-19 lemons that were thrown our way and turned some of that into lemonade. And the result of that had those successes I'm sharing with you. I'm just looking at here is the GPS that I talked about before that we all have. In a previous set of these sessions, I talked about the reticular activating system. And the reticular activating system, if you want to find out more about that, go to my blog at coachville.ca, get my head out of the way so you can see it, coachville.ca, and on the top there's a blog post. And if you are looking for the reticular activating system or RAS, I've got several posts up there around that and how it plays a role in our success and moves us to where we want to get to much quicker. There's lots of stuff in here, and I'm just looking at the clock, and I try to keep these less than 30 minutes, so pushing on. Did you know that successful people fail more than unsuccessful people? And the reason for that is they try different things. They jump into opportunities. One of the things that, so the people that are high achievers really they use this, they perform at their best. Doesn't mean they're perfect, doesn't mean they know everything, but they're playing at their best level. And as a result of that, they do get better, they do become more effective, they help more people, they solve more problems. They get more shit done. But this is something I picked up out of another, excuse me, out of another group I hang out with. Pat Hazel is a comedian, a comic, and a writer of humor. I guess he's done a bunch of things like Seinfeld show. I wouldn't have ever met him if it wasn't for COVID-19 and virtually networking. So he posted something, and I tweaked it already. His was a little bit different because the group we're in is basically all salespeople for the most part. And he had put, yes, is you expect sales. Well, that's a good one. I thought it was damn good, matter of fact. But I thought that limits me because I work with more than just salespeople. Yes, everybody sells something. Even a child selling the idea that grandpa, that you need to buy me chocolate ice cream. And usually that works because grandpas are softies. Isn't that right, Randy? I know my brother is. Pretty much his grandbabies don't get everything they want, but often they do. So I twisted and tweaked it to turn yes into the acronym of yes into you expect success. So it doesn't matter if you're selling or if you're working out, and it ties into the master skill of success, which is setting goals. Not just setting goals, but have your goals written. Take time out to read them. Some people say you use the SMART acronym. And there's one version of the SMART that I like better than most of the others. And there's another one I like even better, and it's called SMARTER. So SMARTER is specific. So you somebody that doesn't know what the goal is, if they read it, they could understand what it is you wanted to achieve. So that makes it specific. It's clear, right? M is for measurable. I want to drop 30 pounds by such and such a time. That's measurable. You can stand on a scale and see how you're progressing. That's a good one. And then A is where I have a difference of opinion. And if you were to search SMART goals on the internet, you come up with attainable. Well, who the hell am I to tell you it's attainable for you? I had a client once when I first started working with her, and she told me her goal was to move from a cold, wintry climate and take her family as a single mom and go live in a tropical climate. My first reaction, this is the baddest thing for a coach to even think, but my first thought was, oh my God, that's crazy. How the hell are you going to do that? And I caught myself, because it's not up to me as your coach to judge what you're doing in terms of your goals. My role as a coach is to help you stay true to the vision that you have, and help you and encourage you, and maybe introduce some people that could help you, or systems to help you get there. So I shut my mouth up. I didn't tell her that crazy thought I had. And 8 months later, she started living her dream. And it was only a dream when we first started. So because I kept my crazy limiting thoughts to myself and did what I'm supposed to do, she was able to find a way to go and live her dream. And she's still living there today. Matter of fact, they just survived a hurricane. I got a message, saw that she's safe and her family are safe. Lots more water. I've been to Cancun after hurricanes. It can be pretty awful. Anyway, goals, they're really important. Having them written down just helps you stay true to what it is you want to do. And what are the exercises you might want to test to see if your goals are really what you really want to go after? Is every morning when you get up and start your day, write your top 10 goals down. Have a journal. I was looking for mine. I don't have it here. Normally I have it right within my grasp, but I don't have it here right now. And every day, rewrite your goals, your top 10 goals, every day. Write them out exactly. I know it seems like a pain in the ass, but you're worth it. Do it. And don't look back at the day before to see what you were going to write your top 10 goals. And what will come out of that for you is really what's your top 10 goals. And the other thing that will surface out of that, if you don't know what it is already, is your market dominating position. So that's it for today. To know your why, your purpose, and setting goals is really the master skill of success. So if you got value out of this by watching it live today, or if you catch us on the rebound or the replay, share this out with people if it makes sense to share it out. Put it on your social media, or invite people to come and check me out and check the Business Renovator out by going to coachphil.ca and checking out the blogs. And remember this one. Yes, say yes to life. Say yes to opportunities. I don't know if you've ever seen improv. I've taken a couple of courses in improv. I'm not planning to be a professional improv performer, but what I got out of that experience was, when you're in improv, no is not an answer. Whenever they invite you to do something, you say yes. Yes, let's. And what ends up happening with that is, if you say yes to more things, especially if you know what your goals are, and if you get asked to do something and it's aligned with where you're trying to get to because you've set the goals, you've written them down, you know where you're going, you can decide then, because now you know your destiny, it's going to move you towards that in one way, shape, or form. If you don't have goals and you say yes, you could be bouncing off the rocks like a catfish does. It's a bottom dweller, and it just kind of mopes around in the creeks and the rivers it lives in, and it doesn't really have much of a plan. I'll leave you with one thought by my paraphrase of the thought, and that's by Jim Rohn's quote was, if you don't have a plan and if you don't have a goals, guess what? You'll be working for somebody who has a plan and has goals for themselves. And what do you think they have planned for you? Not too much, probably. So on that note, I wish you success. Not that it's not a wish. I affirm you success. That's much better. Wishy is kind of like wishy-washy, squishy. So that's my impression of Randy. He's an awesome guy. If you get a chance to check Randy out, do it. You can find him on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And soon to be, I heard Randy, one of his goals, he's going to have a live stream. And I hope I get an invite to be part of that when he gets launched. Anyway, have a magnificent, I can't say that word today, have a wonderful time this week. And in Canada, it's Thanksgiving weekend coming up. So if you're Canadian watching this, happy Thanksgiving. And if you're not Canadian, have a wonderful weekend.